Okay, so this is a presentation on the recent fish deaths that we've been seeing, and this is the study that was done, and the suspected cause that was identified is ammonia. I am Nicole Jones, and this is my presentation of the study that was done. So the suspected cause is, like I said, a chemical called ammonia. And ammonia belongs to the functional group amines. Ammonia is made up of 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen molecules. Amines are created from the breakdown of proteins and often have foul smells. The toxin source is ammonia, which is a major component used in fertilizers and is found in animal waste. It enters the waterways by runoff from pastures and croplands. It's also hydrophilic and is easily dissolved in water from NH3 gas in the air. Nitrogen in the soil and water also can create hydrogen through the nitrogen fixation process. This is a flow chart that also shows how ammonia can enter the waterway. It shows, again, the agricultural source is a very large source, but also discharge from hatcheries and agriculture, also runoff and leakage through groundwater and stormwater from industry and urbanization, as well as channel alterations. That will change the increase ammonia inputs into sediment and water, as well as decrease the nitrogen uptake. So these changes will also affect the ionization and the unionization of ammonia. Ionized ammonia is NH4+, and those fluctuations are also affected by the pH of the water, which is also affected by the temperature. So these ammonia fluctuations in turn will result in affecting the fish, which will result in reduced condition, decreased growth, change in behavior, increased susceptibility to other environmental stressors like disease, increased mortality, decreased reproductive success, which will result in changes in population and community structure, as well as ecosystem process changes, which we're seeing by the fish deaths. Ammonia is a byproduct that is present in most organisms that metabolize protein. The high levels of ammonia in water make it difficult for fish to expel the ammonia in their systems. Ammonia is hydrophilic, so it needs transport assistance across the cell membranes of fish. Much research supports the theory that Rh glycoproteins, as well as H-positive ATPase and Na+, and potassium plus ATPase in the transport of assist in the transport of ammonia across the cell membranes in the gills of fish. It was believed before that it was a passive transport process that the ammonia was expelled. However, recent research by Wilkie has shown that those Rh glycoproteins, as well as that sodium potassium ATPase, will assist in that transport of the ammonia across the membranes of the fish. And that disruption of it is actually one of the big causes of how ammonia is toxic to the fish. So water temperatures and pH affect the ionization of ammonia. Ionized ammonia is not toxic to fish. Unionized ammonia, however, is very toxic to them. So as you see, the unionized NH3 is able to be transported across with those glycoproteins, and it's not a problem. However, the NH4 requires that ATPase, so the sodium comes in, and the NH4 can cross into the gill water. And so also there's studies have shown that in some fish that the NH4 can substitute for the potassium, the K+ here, and so they've seen an increase in the sodium in the plasma with a decrease in the NH4 in some fish. So that's how some fish can expel it, whereas some are more resistant to ammonia, whereas other fish are not as resistant to the unionized ammonia. So again, as pH in water increases, unionized ammonia in the water increases, creating that toxic environment. As water temperatures increase, the toxicity of ammonia of fish also increases. So that respiration becomes inhibited due to the high levels of ammonia, impairing that effective diffusion gradient of ammonia in the water from the lungs. So there is a specific gradient, and it just becomes harder and harder to move against it. So the fish are unable to expel the ammonia from when fish are unable to expel the ammonia from their gills, causing the tissue damage, seizures, and it causes tissue damage, seizures, and death. Research reports specific effects of the high levels of ammonia in the water include gill damage, organ damage, stress, hyperexcitability, seizures, and death. Protein is metabolized, which creates ammonia. The mitochondria in the liver cells catabolize ammonia into urea, or the gills of the fish will excrete the ammonia. If the fish are not able to expel the ammonia, it will build up in the body, affecting the tissues in the gills, the mitochondria in the liver cells, and the brain cells of the fish. So more specifically, Bergeron kind of spells it out that the toxic effects of ammonia is that it causes the proliferation in gill tissues, will increase at ventilation rates, which damages the gill epithelium. It also causes reduction in blood oxygen carrying capacity due to progressive acidosis, and there's uncoupling oxidative phosphorylation, causing inhibition of production and depletion of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, in the brain, which means that the mitochondria can't produce ATP, which inhibits and depletes the adenosine triphosphate, which is needed for the brain for nerve impulses in the brain. So it just disrupts that whole system, as well as it disrupts the normal metabolic functioning of the liver and the kidneys. Fish use glycoproteins and sodium, potassium, ATPase to excrete the ammonia across the gill epithelium. However, some fish use carbonyl phosphate synthase to break down ammonia. The CPS1 gene codes for the enzyme, and CPS is controlled by N-acetylglutamate, which activates CPS. Glutamine synthase is also important in the metabolization of ammonia. Ammonia also activates phosphofructokinase in the cytosol of fish, which disrupts the function of the mitochondria and impairs energy metabolism. Again, that mitochondria, when it's impaired, is the big thing happening inside the fish. So it's also suspected that ammonia interferes with the ion exchange of the brain of fish, causing astrocyte swelling and death. So again, it's just a lot of the ions are very disrupted with that ionized ammonia. So the effects of high ammonia levels on human is that ammonia water most likely will not affect humans unless they ingest the water. Long-term effects of consuming water containing high levels of ammonia may cause organ and tissue damages in humans. There is no data available on the metabolism of ingested ammonia on humans. However, studies and rates have shown that ammonia is almost entirely metabolized by the liver and excreted through the kidneys within 3 days. The damage due to suspected exposure is only suspected. It's not proven. However, if you have already a compromised kidney and liver, it's suspected that you would see much of the same effects on the brain and the mitochondria and the overall metabolization of ammonia and the impairments of it that you see in fish on humans as well. So it will really affect your brain much in the same way as we've already discussed. So how this has occurred: nitrogen and ammonia are naturally occurring. They dissolve in water and air from the soil. Climate change is raising water temperatures. Fertilizers are creating issues of eutrophication and raising ammonia levels in water. Runoff from agricultural lands and feedlots are also increasing ammonia levels in waterways. And all these factors are lending themselves to creating a toxic environment for fish. The big thing and the big takeaway is how we fix it, and that is that we need to reduce excessive fertilizer use in the area, eliminate runoff from feedlots, eliminate discharge sources from urbanization and industry operations, eliminate discharge into waterways from hatcheries or aquaculture operations, as well as reduce greenhouse gases, which are causing higher water temperatures. We do all these things, hopefully it will eliminate the ammonia that is entering the waterway, and we can see a rebound of the fish population. Thank you very much.